Welcome. Good afternoon. Welcome along to the frozen cameras. Why the fuck are they frozen? I'll do that. There we go. Welcome along to number 3 of our pre-session sessions, where we are meeting each of our players. Today I have playing with me Rico. Rico, tell us a little bit about your character.
Hi, everybody. So my character is Torrin Goldenbrand. Torrin's a strapping young dragonborn, a member of the, we'll say, once prestigious Goldenbrand family. His grandfather, Kalgorath, was a famous arena champion back in homeland of Isra. After he attained his fame, basically moved into the quaint village of Sandringham, settled down, where Torrin is basically the second generation of the Goldenbrand family to be born there.
Very much true.
He is... how can we describe Torrin? He is your typical noble's child. He's responsibility, like free of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit arrogant, perhaps. But he's good-hearted and good-natured.
How does he look to you?
Torrin is not... He's probably shorter than the average dragonborn. He probably stands a little under 8 foot tall, maybe 7 to 10, to be precise. He's also not as thick, we'll say, as most other dragonborn. He's definitely a little more toned than the average hulking beast, the dragonborn. He wears a fine sort of green tunic, almost like a doublet, up to his chin, long black pants with brown leather boots, and he has a majestic sort of cloak, gray cloak with a white fur lining. I've lost you, James.
Ah, muted. I said which with 2 wizards will be ruined fairly soon into the campaign, I'm sure. Also, for reference, I don't know what voice is going to come out of Torrin, and he doesn't know what voice is going to come out of his parents. He's not adopted. It's just, we haven't planned accents. We had a discussion about it, and we didn't get around to it, so we're going to find out in a minute.
I will say this, that I will do my best to not embarrass myself.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, I think we're going to start with the same...
British accent.
Oh, okay, no, I'm not muted. Okay, he's behind.
Once more true Brits.
Okay, so yeah, we're playing. The other players include 3 other British players and myself. So we'll see how that one goes. So our story begins in the quiet village of Sandringham, where we randomly have a picture on the screen. Let's undo that. Village of Sandringham is in Jorston to the northwest. It is a dozy village, and the majority of people there are farmers or, commoners. I think it's fair to say. They're fairly simple people, and yet we begin at the Goldenbrand house, which is no simple home. It is a well-built home. In fact, it could be classed as a mansion. It certainly would have been classed as a mansion 110 years ago when it was first built. Now, however, 2 generations later, it's not been looked after perfectly. There are no housemaids or servants. It's fairly large upkeep for a mother when the father works, and yeah, we're getting there. It's being looked after as best as possible. I'm sure that Torrin has quite a few chores on a weekly basis. However, we begin in the living room. Well, living room, I should say. The opening entryway in the home. The Great Hall. Yes, okay, Great Hall. Sure, I'll believe that when I see it. As you hear a call from your mother saying, "Torrin, please, can you come and help me, please? I'm in the kitchen."
Yes, mother, give me a moment, please.
And she is calling you, and you will remember because you have visitors coming today. Yorkrath from the Silver Sword is coming to visit your father.
Uncle Yorkrath.
Yes, he will be there soon. She reminds you, please do get out the pewter today. Yorkrath is very well to do. We can't be embarrassing ourselves in front of city folk.
But mother, the pewter's so heavy.
Well, such as it is also impressive. Your grandfather left it to us. We will make use of it. Anyway, we better go and join your father in the dining hall, and they should be here shortly.
All right, then. He'll make his way over.
Fantastic. And shortly afterwards, you hear a rapping upon the door. And your father, I'll get that. And he wanders over to the door, and he opens the door, and, well, Yorkrath, fantastic, lovely to see you. Please do come in, chap. Oh, who's this you brought with you? And Yorkrath turns around, and I brought with me one Rogar. Rogar is the grandson of... Notes are not open. Don't try and do this by memory. Rogar is the grandson of Kiliax. You and everybody else would know that Kiliax is, or was, the shield brother to your grandfather. And when your grandfather chose to leave the land of Israel and come south, his shield brother would have come nearby to ensure your family was well protected. Kiliax sort of follows a little bit behind Yorkrath. You can tell that he's anything but well-to-do. He seems a bit rough and ready, and he has strapped to his back a sword. Yorkrath, of course, is well-armed. He has a large greatsword on his back and a smaller sword at his hip, as well as a dagger. However, there's just a singular sword for Rogar. Rogar is just... but to carry a sword at the age of 18, 19 shows that he has completed the blood hunt. You, of course, yourself have completed the blood hunt, but not in the same way. No orcs or goblin kind were hurt during the making of the blood hunt or Torrin. I assume they sent you out to hunt down an elk.
Some other large.
Yes. Something that I'm sure you brought back with ease. Nevertheless, as Yorkrath comes in and takes a seat at the dining hall, you see them both come in and they both greet you. Young Torrin, you seem to be growing fast.
And you seem to be the same as ever. And I'll reach a hand out.
He takes your hand and he sort of, he's testing your strength a little bit. He grips as hard as he can. He will make a strength check just to see if he's going to crush you. No. That's a 13 with a +9 modifier. That is a nothing. So you sort of test your strength a little bit, and you see Kiliax sort of nod awkwardly at you. And Yorkrath turns and, I brought young... sorry, I keep calling him Kiliax. He's not Kiliax, he's Rogar. I brought young Rogar to see you. He's come of age now. He is to begin his training at the Silver Sword. And all weapons martial. You must be Torrin.
One and only.
Wow. I think you and I are meant to go for some kind of bonding walk while the adults talk. If you're up for it.
Sounds rather lovely, actually.
Well, just before you go, your father stops him, and Yorkrath turns and, the reason I brought Rogar to see you is that he's beginning his training soon, and we thought that perhaps you might also be inducted to the Silver Sword. Perhaps train alongside him. And your mother said, no, he's not going to Harbondon. He's going to be a proper city lad. He's going to be raised as a noble. No, we don't need any of that soldiers and violence. And
my grandfather was a member of the Silver Sword.
Yes, and he chose to come and settle. There is a reason for that. It's the civilized life. But, let us have a chat about it. You take Rogar out for maybe take him out for the hunt. Rogar, do you have a bow with you? And we have one on the cart outside. I'll grab it when I go out. Take Rogar hunting and maybe see what you can bring back.
That sounds lovely, Mother.
We'll have a chat when you return. And with that, as soon as you're out of the room, you see Rogar sort of relax and just... they're all a bit proper, aren't they? Yorkrath is all about what's correct and precedent and presidential and, the proper forms of address. And he's been training him in all this squire stuff. Apparently I'm to be his squire. I wish I'd have got one of the normal Dragonborn, but hey, aren't you? Your family you're the Goldenbrands, right?
That's right. My grandfather was called Gorath Goldenbrand.
Cow. He's the champion of the arena?
Aye, he was.
That's
long ago, but
incredible.
in his heyday, he was a powerful fighter.
Have you been to see like the Goldenbrands proper, like in the city?
Are you talking about Harbonnen, or?
No. I'm talking about in Israel. To which you may happily say no or yes.
I'm afraid I've never actually made it us to see the homeland with my own eyes. I plan to do so as soon as I can, I suppose.
I was born there. I was born in Railgun actually, but I was only 2 when we came south. My mother had gone back home, but my father decided to return to where my grandfather had raised him. And we came back to Harbonnen when I was very young. Been fighting for the Silver Sword since, so we've been on a couple of small quests, but nothing interesting, no real combat. So, where did you go for your bloodhunt? At this point, by the way, you have made your way outside, we should mention, and are making your way... this is Rogar, by the way. Yeah, he's not quite as well armoured. I'm afraid we've got a... No, that's Yorkrath. He's, okay, we don't have a picture for... Yeah, we don't have a picture for Rogar, but that's Yorkrath. Yes, he's a full-on fighter. But yeah, we'll go exploring in the woods to the west of Beldania. And he grabs his bow from the cart and the two of you set out. I'm assuming you also have your bow on you.
Yes.
Yeah. And the tradition...
I would have regaled him with a tale of my blood hunt. I probably would have explained that father had sent me out to bag the largest elk in the surrounding...
Elk? Not an orc or a kobold?
Well, I've seen orcs or kobolds around these parts for 100 years almost.
That much is true, but I had to go across the mountains. It was horrible. The longest trek ever to fight the most puny kobold you've ever seen. Frankly, I think he would have killed himself on my sword if I had have asked him nicely. It was, yeah. Hunting an elk was probably more exciting. Bringing one down your own.
It'd be quite the chase, but all in good fun, yes, Rogar?
Well, perhaps elk might not be our target for the day, but should we head towards the mountains, see what we can find?
Yes, let's, please.
We'll
show you these parts.
We'll skip forward sort of 40 minutes or so. And as you are approaching the foot of the mountains, the Eladara Lumines Mountains, that are the sort of boundary between Jorston and Moigos, the land of the orcs. In the foot of these mountains, you might find something such as an Arctic fox, or a panther, or perhaps a snow leopard. Snow leopards are sort of the real prize of hunting here. They're not hugely dangerous. They're probably only about 4.5 foot in length. They're not particularly terrifying, but they are, however, incredibly difficult to spot. They camouflage themselves brilliantly.
Actually, that my cloak was a snow leopard's pelt by my father or something.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I think he might have recognized that, and well, hopefully we can find a snow leopard today. And as he leads you up into the mountains, it feels kind of natural to follow Rogar. He's got a sort of air of not necessarily command, but just competence. He clearly, he's got his bow. It's a longbow. He knows how to use it. He's got his sword. He's perhaps a year or so older than you. He's wearing sort of studded leather armor, and a sort of it's not mail, but it's definitely made of interlinked metal. A big belt around his waist and a proper hilt. Yeah, he's a little bit, perhaps there might be a little bit of jealousy there from Torrin in a way. If Rogar wasn't so easy to get along with.
I would have definitely been like looking up and down,
yeah,
following him and being like, oh, look at this set of armor.
Yeah, he's given you a couple of looks, and a different person in his situation might think of you a little rural. But he's not that kind of person. He prefers the easy, gentle life. He spends a lot of time drinking at the crossroads or on the outskirts of Harbonnen, not actually in Harbonnen in the city proper. Doesn't do politics, and he likes to hunt. And as you guys head into the mountains, I'll take a survival check from you if you don't mind, because he needs some help. He doesn't know these lands very well. Unfortunately, his dice says 5.
I only rolled a 9, unfortunately.
That's a lot better. He's got a -2. So his says 3. Well, at least you're not quite lost yet as you guys head into the foothills of the mountains. The mountains are quite dry and quite warm at the base. But they're quite steep, and they're easy tracks for you guys. You're able to head up into the more impressive parts of the mountains where, as you get far enough up, somebody that was not a Dragonborn might start feeling the cold at this point. Even for Golden Dragonborns, or, oh, by the way, yeah, that might be worth mentioning. Rogar is a Silver Dragonborn. That was worth mentioning. The Silvers are often shield brothers to the Golds. They often serve as... It's sort of like a higher level version of a squire. They're more capable in battle. They're more loyal. But they're still there effectively as a right-hand man.
I then assume that Yorkrath is a gold dragon.
Yorkrath is a golden dragon. Yorkrath is in fact a distant relative of the Golden Skins. He is a second cousin of the youngest of the sons of the Golden Skin family, but he is quite well to do, and he's set to inherit a position of power in the Silver Sword down Harbon, and that's why he's been sent down here. The Silver Sword, headquarters for the whole of Jorston is in Harbonden. They've got smaller outposts in the other cities, but Harbonden is their main outpost due to the fact that it mans the border with Yakan. So it's quite a position of honor for a Dragonborn to come down here for this. So it wouldn't be like a Golden Skin was being put down, but that's why your parents were so bothered about the pewter. You know, you've got to impress him. Anyway, as you guys head up into the mountains, it begins to get cold, and the snow begins to tinkle down a little bit. You begin to sort of...
Rogar?
Yeah.
How cold are you?
No, not at all. Not at all. In fact,
Good man.
I find the climate a little difficult down at the bottom, down south here in Jorston. Where I was born, it was a little cooler. It's really hot down here. We went in a... Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, yes, it is sweltering at times.
We went on a mission recently to Halion, to the deserts, the Leonin deserts.
Halion.
Yeah, we were meant to go on a pilgrimage to the south, but we were distracted by some problems with some satyrs, and well, anyway, I was there to carry buckets of water. It felt I didn't really do anything else, but
Oh, it must have been amazing. I remember my grandfather telling us stories.
I imagine he went somewhere different to me. It was hot, and there was sand as far as the eye could see in any direction, and that was it. It was one of the worst trips I've ever been on. Not to mention I got horrible bites between my scales, and almost I burned the backs of my eyes.
While Rogar is explaining how terrible his trip was, like Torrin is just like envisioning all of this wonderful stories.
Yeah, it's not the same. This was a really boring diplomatic mission to the Oasis that involves trudging across literally the Sahara. He was not a happy bunny. Anyway, at this moment, I will take a perception check from you, please. Because I can't roll for shit. I think you get advantage on this. Is that how the feat works? Oh, you haven't read your feat that I've given you yet, have you?
It doesn't. There isn't. Oh, I see. I have to click on it.
Yeah. Yes, it is an advantage, please.
Tracking something. Yes, I do get it.
You are. Well, you're looking to find or track a creature.
One more. Right, we'll go with the original 10.
10 it is. So you notice on the ground some tracks that look relatively recent pressed into the ice. And as you stop, he turns back to look at them with you. Oh. That's not a... Does he know this? Yes, he does. That's no animal's tracks. That looks like the hoof of a horse, no? And perhaps here there's another one with it.
I'll bend over to feel if there's any warmth emanating from track, or if it's cold and old.
Given that it's in the ice, any warmth swiftly disappeared. However, you do notice that they are headed to your west. So this is neither up nor down the mountain, but instead to the side of the mountain. Sort of into a different part. Well, perhaps we should follow them. You don't normally get...
Shall we investigate?
You don't normally get horses this far up. Why would somebody...
Certainly not in the mountain ranges. Not traveling down the side anyway.
As you head to the west slightly, you see a cave, and a small path leading from the cave. As you reach the outside of the cave, you see that there is a what I can only describe as a bed laid out. It's sort of like a double bedroll that's being rolled out. There's a little fire pit next to it. There's a couple of candles burnt down. What looks like the remnants of some nice breakfast. But somebody's definitely finished with this camp. But the bedroll looks like it might be a more permanent stay. Somebody's built a little lean-to over the top of it. So it looks like it belongs here.
Torrin will turn to Rogar and sort of say, well, it appears as though someone lives here. You imagine?
Lives here, or perhaps stays here? Looks like some kind of romantic getaway to me.
I don't know why anyone would stay in such a cold, drafty place. My room is quite comforting and warm.
I think it might be to do with the view of the stars in the mountains. They are stunning up here.
A true romantic, are we, Rogar?
Either that, or I've found enough hiding spaces to take the young city girls. Well, anyway, and then at this point, I will take a survival check at advantage, please, because he's rolled a natural fuck.
Hey, that's more like it. I'm 19 and an 18.
Sick! Yeah, use all the good rolls at once, why don't you? And you will be able to follow the horse's tracks. About 4 or 5 minutes down the road, you notice something unusual about these tracks. Give me an insight check. Oh, he's got your back if you don't.
Oh, not too bad. 12.
Yeah, so you notice that it's like one horse is being led by the other. There are 2 horses, but one is definitely being led, and they are really moving at speed. As you follow these tracks, however, before long, you see a man on the back of one of the horses leading the other. And you recognize this man immediately. This is Dorcray. Dorcray is somebody who lives in Sandrin. He is the son of a farmer. And the main reason you would know him is the fiancé to the daughter of Mayor Gullen. Mayor Gullen's daughter, Meralda, who's she's probably the most eligible bacheloress, if you like. Well, she's not anymore. She was before they got engaged.
Sorry, his name is
Dorcray. That is Dorcrae. Actually, I'll answer that question now, Reg. No, these are introductions to the players who are going to be in the campaign we are starting on Sunday. So there's a little snapshot, a sort of 45-minute snapshot of each player before we start the main campaign. And he looks at you and... Torrin!
Dorcray!
Meralda's gone missing. We were riding together, side by side. And then she was gone.
What do you mean she was gone? She just vanished into thin air? We're not watching her.
We were side by side. And then... something spooked the horses, and then she was gone.
Turn to Rogar and say, these simpletons. Not to worry, Dorcray.
Not to worry. I'm lost. She's been gone for 5 hours. I'm trying to find the way down back to the city. Back to Sandringham. Which is not a city in the slightest, by the way. I'm trying to get back. See whether I can get Kelvin.
Was it you who was post up in that cave?
Yeah, we come here regularly.
I see. A little bit of...
Not the time, Torrin. She's gone missing. 4 or 5 hours. These are the borders in Wagos.
Rogar, we must find her before it gets too dark.
I think we should go back to the town and look for Kevin.
No, not to worry. We can handle this, right? Hey, Rogar.
Rogar looks at you and...
I'll sort of elbow him into the ribs.
I think we might need somebody who's more skilled at tracking. We saw the horses. You didn't see any footprints, did we? I wouldn't know where to start in these mountains.
Nonsense. Nonsense, Rogar. We are 2 strapping young dragonborn about to be inducted into the Silver Sword.
I fear not for our ability to fight what it is when we get there. I fear for our ability to get there.
I see. Well, I do have experience in these parts.
Give me an intelligence check at this point. Probably with advantage.
And disadvantage.
Advantage.
Okay.
Because you do know these mountains, but you also know these mountains.
20.
A nat 20, eh? Yeah, you swiftly realize that because of the dryness up here, without a starting point, you could be up here for weeks and not find it. What you need more than anything up here is numbers.
I see. So after Torrin ponders this for a bit, he'll say, I fear you might be right. Let us return. Okay, come with us, please.
Please, if you can find a way down to Sandringham, I'd really appreciate that.
Yes, of course.
You will be able to do this with ease. And the two of you begin leading him. The horses shy away from both of you, but he's clearly quite a horseman. He's spent a lot of his life on a horse. He's quite easily able to keep them in line and get them to travel back. And as you guys get back to the town, he leads you straight to Kevran's house. Kevran is the ranger of... sorry, I'm stuck to my microphone stand. Kevran is the ranger of Sandringham. He's the huntsman. He's an elf from Veralia who travelled down here sort of 50 or 60 years ago and sees himself as sort of the protector of the town. But you get to his door and he's not in. And you see for a moment Dorcray panics, and then he says, maybe he's in the tavern?
The tavern sounds like a wonderful idea. We can stop for a quick refreshment. And,
My fiance's missing? Refreshment is not on my mind.
Of course, Dorcray, but you must remember that one must keep themselves hydrated.
Well, perhaps. And as he leads you over to the Traveller's Rest Inn, so do I have a picture of this? I'm pretty sure I do. I have a picture of the inside. Well, regardless, we'll as we move into the Traveller's Rest Inn, you notice a few things. First of all, the usual barmaid is present. This is Natasha. You know her quite well. Natasha Rylet. She's the daughter of the innkeepers. She's currently training to be a midwife, but she is also working on the bow.
Into the family business.
Yeah. You see in the corner old farmer Hennick. He's telling us a tale of some sort that I'm sure is enrapturing the guests. And then sitting just over from him, you see Sebastian, the human that turned himself into a cat wizard, curled up upon the table in front of Kevran, who is sat back, smoking a pipe and talking up the town. And then finally, sat to the side, looking over, is the Leonin scholar. Well, you know of this scholar, Chiavo, but you probably haven't had much interaction with him. It's very rare for him to come out the house, and even in this tavern, he is reading his book. He's got his nose sort of scrunched up, and he almost looks like a normal-sized humanoid because his shoulders are so curled over, and his nose is inches away from the book. Mm-hmm. And as you come in, Rogor sort of shouts out, Kevran! Meralda's gone missing in the mountains. She disappeared off the back of her horse and... Kevran, whoa, kid. Slow down. Come. Let's hear it from the beginning. And with that, I shall leave you with a picture of Kevran on the screen. And we shall end there.
Interesting.
So just a short sort of intro. As I said, it's just a half an hour sort of thing. So I won't necessarily do MVPs, but are there any particular highlights or hints that you're enjoying?
I think I'm enjoying Torrin's voice a little more than I expected to.
Mm-hmm. It's good. I like it. It's not. You're not embarrassing yourself at all. He's got a. It's like one of those Brits who's moved to Hollywood.
Exactly.
5 or 6 years ago. Yeah.
He was originally from Isra, and now he's like sort of like living in this farm village. So he's like not quite has the posh accent, but it's like an air of it with a bit of like the.
Yeah, it's beautifully refined. I love it. Yeah, I think it's a real pleasure to just sort of see your character in action. There was that typical tiny bit of arrogance of like, no, we can track them. Yeah, no. But that was most definitely going to be impossible, especially as it's the plot hook for the start of the campaign. But yes, I think it was nice getting to play the very posh parents. I enjoyed that. And Yorkrath. Yorkrath, of course, who's very well spoken. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun. And obviously, for those of you who don't know, the characters that we've just seen in the tavern, the cat, the lion, and the barmaid and the halfling farmer are the other players in the campaign. So that will be where the story begins on Sunday. If you haven't already, please do catch the other episodes. They're all going up on YouTube. This one will be up on YouTube within 45 minutes or so. There are a couple of hints dropped. Realistically, you could start on Sunday and it wouldn't matter that you hadn't seen any of the pre-sessions. But there are some interesting little tidbits. So, and more importantly, I think it's a little chance to unveil a bit about the personality and skills of each individual player. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I think we'll end it there. I hope you enjoyed your session, your little mini session as it is. And yeah,
looking forward to Natasha and Hennik's sessions as well.
yeah. So that's Natasha on tomorrow and Hennik on Saturday. We also have Drathnor Keep this evening and Urxos tomorrow, so I'm squeezing it all in this week. And Beldania will start on Sunday at some time early morning EST or early afternoon British time. But without further ado, if you'd like to say goodbye, Rico.
Bye, Rico.
We shall see you soon.